It's over, folks. Belit has taken out her first victim. 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
If you want me, you can come and fight me.
I'm pretty sure I heard a crack or two there, and she did get in a decent jab or two. More to toughen you up.
Then what's the problem? How have I offended the great bruiser now?
You took it way too easy on her. You could have had her in under a minute. You let her get in one good hit. You could have flat out knocked her out. A super mutant won't appreciate your show of mercy.
I'm saving the real show for Annabelle or Is, assuming they have signed up at all. I haven't checked the sign-up sheets.
You think 3 minutes will be enough to make your point to either of them?
Probably not, but it'll put an edge on our mutual understanding. We all need to see who is and who isn't ready for our next big challenge. The Queen was just the beginning.
I got the next piece of meat coming up soon. You gonna take my corner again or wanna pick up Willie and let Helga take a shot at announcing?
Willie needs time in the corner. I have a party to attend. Maybe pick a lucky fellow for later, although the pickings right now are lackluster at best.
We can be back to business as usual once the fights are done, and I'd move quickly. Your better class of regular paramours are filling up their dense courts.
I had men dropping dinners with their wives to be with me. I'm Belit Baudelaire after all. Before I leave, one last thing. One for the road, for luck on the next fight.
See, you were actually mingling for a change. Or has somebody been bad tonight, Miss Aquino?
Nice to see ya, boss. I'm ready for the next one.
When are you gonna puppy lead in here, play say bum?
And in answer to your question, this is a party, and if you're going to slip your arm around me, like I wouldn't notice, hit that or have a beer in that hand from me.
Actually, I was hoping to do more than just slip my arm around you. I always had a thing for older women.
She's not interested, I certain.
You never said I wasn't. I figured on. And I'll take at least once tonight, or tomorrow night. But I need at least some convincing.
Okay, I'm happy enough just to watch if you don't mind a low-key low.
Okay, well, it's been a hot minute. Alright, I'm convinced. And you? You know my rule about not having too many players on the field?
So, what did I just miss? I just saw Ace and A-Bomb running away.
They are getting laid, unlike me right now. So sad. What are your plans for the evening?
Oh, just the usual. Drink until they puke. We got them on a pool of their own vomit. Somewhere in between, I was thinking of hunting for the great elusive fancy lad, snack cake.
Oh, brother, men are all alike.
Wait, what did I say?
Alright, I'll admit here, and now that I actually missed that.
Thanks. You weren't so bad yourself, for an old woman.
It has been a lifetime. That first year, you hadn't even hit puberty yet, and I was a strapping 19 years old. I hit 20 later that same year. First birthday I ever hated.
Was the youngest person in that interval. Every friend of mine was at least 5 if not 10 years older than me.
And then, 6 years later, a 16-year-old and I was almost 26. That was a hell of an age gap.
Oh, I figured if I was gonna fray for liking other girls, I might as well double down my bet. Took me a month to get up the nerve to kiss you that first time.
I felt two things. Confusion and passion, which of course led to more confusion. I don't mean anything by it, but I was raised right. The right ways to do things. The right things to like.
I'll just meet the right boy. It's just a confusing pace. Yeah, I remember the talk. But then there was Macy who simply told me to go for it. Sebastian didn't care, and Jerry thought it was a non-assuming.
I mean, I wasn't sheltered or anything. Had boyfriends throughout high school. Last one I met when I worked at Gilman Lumber. Very handsome. A generally nice guy. But he wanted to travel. And I didn't. But, yeah, that first time. At least we waited a bit. I don't want to sound sappy or anything, but I really mean when I said I loved you. I got caught writing Mrs. Aquino Estes.
Everybody was just disappointed in me. Major Store wanted to shoot me. Or at least, lock me up until I was cured. Others acted like I had some disease. That I'd infect their girls. But thanks in part to Max, I found out I wasn't the only lumberjill at the camp. Far from it. He said I was his cohort. We both were poisoning our society with our degeneracy for the better.
I had some nice fellas after that. I still liked that. Me and Seb were briefly in item a few times. And of course, with Max. One test and you can never go back.
Really headed you there for a few years. But I guess I didn't appreciate how it was for you too. When things lightened up, I guess I started to. The overseer just decided things had to be different down in the vault after that.
I figured once Davy could wear any shade of lipstick, Heck, they wanted. And nobody was asking Max to pick a natural-looking hair color. The one's still hard up against you. Figured. I had been cured. Gave me almost too much approval when I was on a date.
Then that night in Lily's, about 10 years ago. I know it was just a one-time thing then, but I think it helped me get over how I had been treated. I took the last decade in the vault in stride.
We weren't exactly secret about it either. And yet, nobody really paid much mind that time around. Major Star had asked where you were, because you were late for some shit. Told him where to find you. He didn't even bat an eye that time.
Yeah, his attitude towards me just softened a bit, very slowly, until I could walk down any hallway hand in hand with whoever, and he'd just politely nod in acknowledgement.
As nice as this is, I really need to go do my rounds, and maybe mingle a bit.
And you just stay here, with me. Maybe 10 or 15 more minutes.
Alright, 10 more minutes. But first, help me find my socks and my brassiere. I may like my riffles, but I'm not going full commando.
And object that one has heard 2 more moves for the big and himself for the virtue. But ladies, if you want him, you'll have to go through the Queen of Mead herself, Belit.
And now to give Bruno a chance to race. Give it up for Davy Doug. What did they say? It's their band name. To make a nice replacements.
Hello to my friends and family. Never mind, you are all my family. I thought I'd keep up the kicking and keep you great. No vocals on this one, but I'm going to pick up the good.
Good evening, Padre. Fancy seeing you at such a den of sin.
It is nevertheless a great gathering of all, at times. Wayward, family. And I wouldn't mind starting off with a long draw of whiskey, if you would be as kind to share.
Of course. I just grabbed this one, in fact. Let me pour you a stiff one. We might as well sit down too.
You are most gracious. I've been touring old churches, places of worship. Many I still remembered from my childhood.
Strange experience. We went to the First Friends Church. I was maybe 5 or so, for about 6 months. It was strange to see it in such ruin.
I didn't realize Major Star had ever attended service. Had he been an evangelical Quaker of some kind?
I don't know. I don't think so. It was short-lived. Perhaps we went with family friends. I don't know. He had little use for God down in the vault, but he liked that it promised eternal damnation for transgressing social norms and his values.
Eternal salvation through God's love is the message, but much, perhaps too much, is said instead for damnation. I do recall your father sitting in the back of a few of my services, never really taking part.
He was watching your services closely, at times, in case you decided to slip some messages of rebellious spirit into your sermons. I never figured he ever found one, though.
Yes, I do remember my little talks with the overseer, especially the first 4 or 5 years, when we still thought the heavenly presence of the almighty vault was still upon us.
And then, it was obvious, we were alone. We were survivors, not merely colonists. The world had returned to God. Finally, the unspoiled paradise.
I occasionally saw you in my services too. I had always hoped that I could bring together the 2 starmen in the spirit of Christian harmony.
Pretty words, not bad thoughts, ideas, not necessarily my own, but they weren't bad ones. I did enjoy it when you added a hint of criticism to the America of old, to the old Sodom and Gomorrah, the failed Rome.
I am not our Lord. I do seek to return to spreading his message. Oh, I have been barred from that function at this gathering by Mr. Borchetti. I drink, smoke, and talk of stuff both vanity and of import.
What is happening, party people? Zach, is that you? Come to join us fellow sinners in a night of serious fuckery?
My participation is limited, I'm afraid, but Sebastian here has been kind enough to pour me a drink and listen to my ramblings.
Oh, Sebastian, you can't spell 60 without SAD, but yeah, he's a good listener for a guy. Oh, relax. You guy, baby. Most men don't complain when I sit in their laps.
I've already had a lot to drink tonight. You might not want to tempt fate there, Helldale.
If you decide to blow out your balance, just no further. But come in, you're not all day.
Alright, fine. I get a little bit, but I was serious before. I have way too much on my mind right now to screw.
Oh, how's the night far for you, Miss Filfinger?
Not bad, not bad. And if you partly at there, but no. I'm becoming a Gaval and a queen. These things have to start out just above that of a complete goner. I really want to rebuild one of those old Fred houses in Morgantown. We could have a regular kidder there, Friday nights, but only the right people. Those who won't be complete squares.
I believe that would rule me out. My debauchery has its limits.
Thanks for the number, Dave. Next up, we got another fight with the Queen of Meaners, and she needs a let-in waiting. So may the Kid Queen come on down and grace us with her presence?
Well, that's my choice. Later, Gators. Nice seeing you, Zach. Stay cool.
I am curious to see how the fights are going.
Lambs to the slaughter. All 6 or 7 of Bruna's so far being tended to by Maxwell, and a few ones not involving him or Belit. The first one walked away instead of being carried. Done no path that.
I suppose I'll join you, provided we bring the bottle of whiskey with us.
And in the other corner, you're Queen of Me, ready for your third fight tonight. Belit, bow down later.
Okay, you might have a bit of a challenge here. She actually fought there in the vault. Proved me pretty hard to learn. Frankly, I deserved it.
The vault rankings mean nothing up here. I'm starting to agree with Bruno that everybody has gotten soft. This will be a quick one. Bet against her for a minute.
Ladies, to your corners. Bets are closed. Wait for the bell. We are starting out with an exchange of heavy jabs. Why is Belit standing for this? She's gonna get the full round at this rate. And she's down. Slammed down by her own Queen of Me. Wait. Oh my god, somebody get Maxwell. Doctor, get a doctor.
Out of the way. Don't move her. She's going into a seizure. Make sure she doesn't swallow her tongue. Brush trachea. Possible fracture to vertebrae. Possible skull fracture. We'll need to operate. Bring her back to that tent over there. I'll need lights.
Where the fuck did that come from, you psychopath?
It was a fight. I have to get out of here.
They're standing close. Joe lands a left hook to the body and a right.